The green heart of Orchard Road is taking shape, with the Istana Park being expanded to become a family-friendly lifestyle location. Among the possible new features are an orchid park, a nature playgarden, and public spaces for street markets and performances. To make the park bigger, a section of the iconic shopping road in front of the Istana will become pedestrianised. Charlotte Lim with more.
A green oasis in the heart of the city. That's the vision for the refreshed Orchard Road, with plans to bring more greenery, public spaces and new experiences to the iconic shopping belt.
Orchard Road holds a lot of core memories to all Singaporeans. And to keep this magic alive and to build more core memories, we must constantly also reimagine Orchard Road. STB, URA, as well as NParks embarked on and launched the Orchard Road Rejuvenation Plan. And that's to transform our beloved Orchard Road into an iconic must-visit lifestyle destination.
One of the biggest transformations will be here at Dhoby Ghaut. The Istana Park will be merged with Penang Road Open Space and Dhoby Ghaut Green. A stretch of Orchard Road from Buyong Road to Hendy Road will also be pedestrianised. This will create a new park more than 3 times the size of the current Istana Park. The rejuvenated area will have 3 main sections: Orchid Park and Orchid Plaza, Istana Park and Dhoby Ghaut Green. Getting around to other attractions could become easier, with authorities studying an elevated link bridge connecting the new area to Fort Canning Park. Visitors could see different orchid varieties at the new park. Part of the pedestrianised road could become a new ceremonial driveway leading straight to the Istana's main gate. And families can look forward to a nature play garden as well as street markets and activities at a multi-purpose public space. Stakeholders in the precinct say the new plans could improve footfall.
This part of Orchard Road used to be the quieter part of Orchard Road. With the rejuvenization of Temasek Shop House as well as the Stamford Canal behind us, we have now seen greater footfall already. We have done activities and festivals to promote footfall in this area. With further rejuvenization of Orchard Road, we believe that more of such connectivity can happen.
2 pocket parks are also being explored at Somerset and Hendy Road, giving shoppers more places to rest and unwind.
The Istana Park Rejuvenation Plan includes a stretch of Orchard Road that will be pedestrianised. Why is Singapore increasingly giving road space back to pedestrians? Well, such plans fit Singapore's push to reduce reliance on cars. By promoting public transport, the trade-off of having less road space can be managed to eventually cut down on traffic congestion.
To what extent is some of the traffic volume simply drivers who are going to end up parking in that area and who could be convinced to stop driving and stop parking in that area? Okay, because if you can divert them to public transport, that's going to be a win-win for everybody. They don't have to pay parking charges and so on, and they may have an even better experience there compared to when they used to drive.
Examples of car-free streets in Singapore include Armenian Street, Kampong Glam, and riverside walkways at Boat Quay. Without traffic, it is easier and safer for pedestrians to move around. The extra street space can also be used by restaurants and shops or for cultural festivals and night markets. Now, for Orchard Road, the aim is to refresh the shopping belt as it faces competition from suburban malls and online shopping. It has also lost some of its sheen due to cookie-cutter malls housing similar brands and retailers. More pedestrian space could give Orchard Road a greener community town square vibe and fresh reasons for people to visit. Other Asian shopping districts with high footfall have already given pedestrians priority. Core shopping lanes in Seoul's Myeongdong district are closed to regular traffic. In Tokyo's Ginza, some major streets go car-free during designated periods. The idea is simple: give people more room to walk, browse, and interact with businesses. But removing traffic alone will not bring the crowds back. Art, performances, alfresco dining, pop-up stores, and greenery could give people reasons to stop and not just pass through. The aim is to turn the shopping strip into more than a place to shop, but a destination to linger and soak up the street life. Closing a road to vehicular traffic also raises practical questions, from diversions to possible congestion. So what would pedestrianizing Orchard Road mean for motorists and commuters? For more analysis, we're joined in studio by Dr Samuel Chng, who is Research Assistant Professor and Head of the Urban Psychology Lab at SUTD's Lee Kuan Yew Centre for Innovative Cities. Dr Chng, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Now, before we get to the questions, Dr Chng, let's take a look at some of the road changes that are coming up. A 500-metre stretch of Orchard Road will be closed and pedestrianised, and that's the stretch along the Istana and also Plaza Singapura. To accommodate motorists, Orchard Road will be rerouted via Penang Road. And this means that Penang Road, which runs parallel to the existing Orchard Road, will be changed from a one-way to a two-way street. So looking at this, Dr. Chng, we know that Dhoby Ghaut is already quite a major busy transport node. So could these plans actually worsen congestion for people, especially along those areas that we saw, Penang Road, Bras Basah Road and Orchard Road surrounding areas?
I think before we answer that question, then what has been announced today in this updated announcement, it's quite interesting for what is to come in Orchard Road. So it's no longer just a road space for vehicles. It's no longer just a shopping street, but it has the potential to bring in greenery, to link it to heritage, to link it to social activities, right? So this fundamentally helps to rejuvenate and make Orchard Road or this specific part of Dhoby Ghaut even more vibrant. And that's important here because the roads are also public spaces. So it's about also giving the public space a new opportunity to deliver more value apart or on top of moving traffic or moving people. So it is a legitimate concern in the case of this pedestrianization that there might be congestion or because traffic is moved to the side roads or parallel roads, then that is where we probably will have to look into the traffic assessment to do some studies to see how we can design the network better. Because at the end of the day, it's not about how many vehicles or how many people will pass through the road. It's about whether our transport network as a whole could still support the daily needs, the daily movement needs and commuting needs of people.
And I would have flipped that question also back to you with the idea that it could also potentially disrupt bus routes. So that's another concern that commuters might have. Do you see, based on what we've talked about earlier, that there might be that concern where commuters on bus routes can be affected?
So if we look at Dhoby Ghaut and that particular area that is being pedestrianised, it has a lot of bus services and it's linking to 3 MRT lines. So if you go there in the morning or you go there at that area in the evening, it's really buzzing because people are changing buses or connecting to the trains and vice versa, or connecting to the buses. So I think what is important over here is even though it's pedestrianised, public transport still would exist. Right? There are different entrances or different exits in the train station. The bus stops, we would continue to expect bus stops to be available, public transport to continue to run, but of course, maybe at slightly different spots. Right? And that's where we probably will have to wait for further plans to come up to let us know where the bus stops will be located. But I think in the time where all these changes are being implemented, people might have some getting used to, whether it's drivers, motorists on the road, or even public transport commuters, right? Knowing which exit or which bus stop would serve your needs better and how to make all those connections that you used to make.
Yeah, some minor adjustments might have to be made to the daily routine or commute. Now, part of the plans for the future include an activity promenade. We have more flexible public spaces, play gardens. So there's a lot to look forward to. But then, in the meantime, do you think that these could also draw crowds during peak periods, which might actually add a little bit more to certain bottlenecks of crowds in certain areas as well?
So I think there is a trade-off, or there is a balance between that. What we want is a vibrant Orchard Road, right? We want to rejuvenate the place, we want to bring people there, and not just for shopping, or not just because you get to make a change. So we see what is being announced or what is being considered to be programmed over there. You have different activities that cater for different groups, and of course this might probably take place across the time of day. And for a good public space, or a successful one, we hope that this space is also used when it's not being programmed. So people will go there in the morning for their walks, for just spending time in nature or visiting the orchid garden, right? Or even then spending time with the kids at the natural playgrounds. So that might bring people in, and perhaps at all times of the day. But that is a mark of a successful public space, right? So there is that trade-off. But at the end of the day, I think if Dhoby Ghaut, and it will probably still continue to be a major transfer node, especially during commuting hours, then there is where the transport planning would have to come hand in hand also with the whole rejuvenation of the place.
Yeah, and speaking of that successful public space, right, do you think pedestrianizing part of Orchard Road is a necessary move, especially when you look at it in comparison to other parts of Singapore, the streets that have been pedestrianized? For example, Armenian Street, you also have the Boat Quay areas, and even Kampong Glam. Do you think there's a need to pedestrianize Orchard Road to make it a successful public space?
So if you look at Dhoby Ghaut, the area that we are talking about, it's changing, it's evolving. And you have both sides of the road being programmed, and there are more and more activities, like Temasek Shop House, for instance, right? Now, it's really buzzing if you have had the opportunity to go there. And having that pedestrianized street offers greater opportunity for programs to spill over, for more spaces for social activities, for instance, or for other programmings. So that offers different type of opportunities for Orchard Road. And that hopefully brings back the buzz to it and the magic of Orchard Road, right?
Dr. Chng, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today. I've been chatting with Dr. Samuel Chng, who is a research assistant professor and head of the Urban Psychology Lab at SUTD's Lee Kuan Yew Centre for Innovative Cities.